Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket tens. This is a 10 and L game. We're in the cutoff, and I open raise. Open raising range, fairly wide. What's a bit surprising is that the button, small blind, and the big blind call. And I call that surprising because look at the VPIP on all of them. It's all under 20. This guy I only have 23 hands, but still 13 out of 4, or 13 VPIP. Button, he's played 2 out of 2. Early position 1 out of 5. That's basically it. This guy appears to be a tight player. This guy's got 95 hands. He's still only played 15% of hands. This is going to be the first hand that he's played from the big blind. And then this guy, I've got 2,000 hands on him. He's 18-2. And you can see that when we have called 2 bets from the blinds range, it's a range of hands. It includes here aces and jacks. So pocket pairs, ace queen suited, basically ace x suited. It looks like a king x suited hands, suited connectors, offsuit connectors, but probably the Broadway connectors. So it's unusual that everyone calls. So this guy, I'm going to say this is his range. It's going to be tighter. I'm going to assume he would 3-bet queens plus ace king. So that's the button. I started with that same basic range for the small blind. For the small blind, we are going to adjust and say 50% of the time he would have just called with kings plus ace king, and the others he would have 3-bet. I do think he's probably, we switched, we could say 75% for ace king, maybe. I don't think he's overly aggressive. I think he's cautious. So 75% ace king. I think aces and kings maybe 50%. But suited aces, suited kings, offsuit, we'll go down to jack 10. Oops, make that 100%. We'll go that to jack 10. We'll do suited connectors. We'll go queen 10 suited. I think that's probably pretty good for that guy's range. This guy's range, we only have 95% of hands. He has a 4% 3-bet percentage, 1 out of 28. And I don't think we have anything, but we have called 2-bet from the blinds range. Out of these hands, one of those is going to be in this range. So I'm going to assume something like that. I think he's going to be much looser since we have 2 calls and he closes the action. I think he'll be probably the loosest of the callers. Flop comes out ace queen 3. We have the 10 of spades, or I'm sorry, 10 of diamonds and the 10 of spades. So we have backdoor diamond draw. It would be the 3rd nut diamond draw. Probably not any good. I think I have all of the aces and the queens. This guy could have some. I don't think villain 7 has any. Villain 2 probably doesn't have any. So, in terms of betting, I don't think we're going to accomplish much. Not against 3 other opponents. If this was heads up, I'd bet, but we're not heads up. I don't think we're going to be betting here. I don't think we're going to be betting aggressively. In a multi-way pot, you want to be more straightforward. So I think if I was betting, I'd be betting the set 2 pair. I think top pair, and then our draws would be probably a flush draw, gut shot. I think 2 card backdoor flush draw could be used as a bluff, something like that. Maybe some of these bottom pairs. Maybe some of these bottom pairs could be used as a bluff, but that's about it. We're not going to be overly aggressive at all. I'm not even sure if I like all of the 2-card backdoor flush draws in this range. I mean, of course, some of them will include a pair, so those are definitely hands. Some of them will include straights. So I think that's probably what we're going to go for. What do? I bet. I think this is probably a mistake with our 10. I don't think we have. I know we're repping the ace. I know we're repping the queen. But to get all 3 to fold, I think it's going to be a stretch, especially since all of them have those suited aces. So what's kind of interesting is that button folds, so that's pretty good. Small blind folds, that's pretty good. And both of those players, I assume, would be checking to me, so no worry about trying to narrow their range because they checked. And then looks like we are going to have villain 2 call big blind. We bet half pot. Bet sizing, I think we should probably bet 4. I think 4 big blind is going to accomplish the same thing as a 6. And we save our money less. So I don't want to say less risk, but lower cost. So he calls. We're going to say he's going to call top pair plus. Flush draw, he's going to call. We're going to give him the straight draw as calling. And we'll give him middle pair as well. I don't think these pocket pair under less than second card is going to be calling. So that's his range. Where our 10s are in not the greatest shape at this point. Best thing we could say is that we're ahead of all of his draws. So 5 clubs comes out. I expect villain to check his entire range here. He checks, and then it's on me, and I bet. So I already let out. I think here I continue leading with my sets, my 2 pair. I think even my top pair is continuing to lead. I don't think there's a reason to check. And I'm going to go back. We're not betting with all of our top pair here. We shouldn't be. I think we're betting ace 10 plus and then ace 2, ace 4, ace 5. We're going to narrow that range. So that gets it. That gets us better. So this was the 5 of clubs. So we bet again. So I think we continue betting our top pair. So we do have some spades, spade draws. That's what those are. I think we continue betting even our ace 10s. I think we bet our ace 2, ace 4. We've got a gut shot now. We're still betting those. Those are somewhat for value, somewhat as a bluff. These possibly could be more as a bluff. We're hoping that they fold, I think, at that point. Give us the equity. Flush draw, we're betting. Open-ender, we're betting. And I think we're doing our gut shots. We've improved. It looks like it doesn't improve him. He could easily be calling with king jack, jack 10, diamonds, king x diamonds, maybe king 5 of diamonds, king 3 of diamonds. We're going to get some value, so I think we continue betting since we have already bet. I think this is a decent size, so I think I would go smaller on the flop, and then I think we can increase the size at least a half pot, maybe 2/3 pot. Question is, what do we do on the river? I think we continue firing on a non-diamond. We continue betting on a non-diamond because that's the most obvious draw, and we're going to bet our missed hands on that non-diamond. If it comes out to be, if we connect with our straight, then I think we continue betting. If it is like a king or a jack or a 10, I think we can still continue betting. Yeah, it could connect with a pair, but I think he's, if he doesn't already have ace X, then he's on a draw, and that draw is just going to give him a pair. He might have a reason to call, but as a tight player, I don't think so. I think we're representing the ace. So we bet here. Villain, I think it's going to call top pair. I think he's still going to call the flush draw. I think the gut shot's probably going to be out at this point. We can still include it. Maybe. I mean, it goes 15%, basically 16%. I think the middle pair is going to be folding. And that's kind of what we'd like to see happen. 20% fold, it's going to give it to us. So 24% of the time he'll fold. Where, a smaller sizing would be automatic profit, but folding equity. And that's why I think betting smaller on the flop makes a turn bet smaller. So I assume he calls. There it is. And then 5 comes out. And I think that's a good card. I think that's a good card for me. It doesn't change anything. I've been aggressive. Villain 2 checks. I don't have any reason to think he would lead. If he does lead, I think strongly that it would be a full house. So he checks to me, and now it's on us. I would bet the full house. I'd go for value and hope that he calls down with ace. I think I would bet 3 of a kind. Again, hope that he has the ace. 2 pair, ace queen. I would bet again, hoping that now his ace X hands, if he happens to have it, calls. That's all for value. Top pair, I think I would bet again. I expect some of the top pair to kind of be somewhat of a bluff. So I think those hands are kind of what we're looking for, kind of as a bluff. We could be ahead, but if he has like a hand like ace 8, ace 9, we're splitting, and I would like him to fold those so I can take the entire pot. And then the weak pair and the nothing hands, I think those are, we already have some of our bluffs. I think if we make it bluffs, we're going to be way too heavy on the bluffs. So I think the king X hands are probably decent just to take the showdown. But these hands, these small hands, I think could be reasonable to bet. Because with the king, even if villain's on a draw, oops, hold on. Oh, we actually don't like the diamonds. We'd rather not have our diamonds. So basically those spades, I'd rather not have the diamonds, because if I don't have the diamonds, then it increases the likelihood the villain 2 has the diamonds. So if I have the diamonds, I don't bet. If I don't have the diamonds, I bet. If I do have the diamonds, I don't. I check behind. So something like that. And I check behind. So I like the check. I don't like how I was playing with my 10s. I think the flop was a check. I think if villain 2 checks the turn, we can bet. We can fire out at that time. I think that could be consistent with like an ace queen hand, trip queens, trip aces. People would say, well, you're giving the flush draw a free chance, which is entirely correct. But we're up 4-way, and surely someone has the ace, so I'm not going to be surprised to see the ace X shown to me at this point. And could we get him to fold ace X? It's tough, but I think with 3 barrels, maybe ace 6, ace 7 folds. I don't know why, because we've got 2 pair aces and 5s with the queen carrier. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So we check, and he shows ace jack, which is in his range. I mean, that's its top pair, and that's kind of what I think. I don't think he's going to fold that. So positive side is that we checked the river, saved ourselves some money. Downside is that I don't think we should have been betting the 10s to begin with, not into 3 opponents. So we check. If villain 7 bets and someone calls, we probably maybe call. We probably call at least once on the flop. I think it'd be too tight to fold, unless like villain 1 calls. If villain 1 calls, then we'll probably beat. But we're up 2 ways at that point. Villain 7 could easily have the ace or the queen, and then this guy, whoever calls again, could be on the flush draw, could be on the ace. So I wouldn't mind check folding in this spot. But yeah, I think that's a mistake. I c-bet when I shouldn't have, and even if I am going to c-bet, I should be c-betting a little less, and that makes a smaller pot size overall on this hand. And I think you would be consistent with that. So is that on there? Yeah, ace king off, ace jack off. He's got 10-8 off. Ooh, maybe a little looser. Queen 9 off. Maybe he's a bit looser than what we expect. Oh well. So we're going to take some notes and call it a day. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another hand.